All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, man, we got great news. Errol Spence Jr. talked about what is going on with the Terence Crawford negotiations for their fight for an undisputed title at 147. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon. In this video, we're going to talk about the 147-pound division, Errol Spence Jr. and Terence Crawford. According to Errol Spence Jr., the negotiation has begun. An offer has been sent to Terence Crawford, and at that point in time, the fight should be a done deal. But before I get into that, though, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are a longtime subscriber to the channel, thank you so much for supporting the channel, watching the videos, watching the live streams. If you're new to the channel, please accept my invitation to subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos, which we do Monday through Monday, several videos. And then we also do live streams every day, except for Saturdays sometimes, but always a really good opportunity to talk boxing. So we got the biggest fight in boxing looking like it's getting closer and closer. Errol reports had come out early yesterday that the negotiations had begun between Errol Spence Jr. and Terence Crawford for the undisputed championship of the world at 147 pounds. Errol Spence Jr. holds the WBA, the WBC, and the IBF belt, and Terence Crawford holds the WBO belt. Well, in an interview that was done this evening, at the time of this video this evening, Errol Spence Jr., who was on his way to watch the fight with between Brian Castano and his stablemate Jermell Charlo for the undisputed title at 154 pounds, was asked about what was going on with the negotiations, and he said very, very clearly that I've already accepted the fight. It is now, the ball is in Terence Crawford's court, so they're just waiting on Terence Crawford to accept the deal. So right there, you know, an offer has been made to Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford needs to accept that fight so we can get this fight on and popping. Not sure what the details of the fight will be, but as we've reported before, you know, that there is any number of potential holdups that could happen in this fight based on what is offered. If you recall, a few months ago, Tim Smith, who is the director of communications for PBC, said that they didn't even want to make an offer to Terence Crawford because they felt like it would be insulting. If you look at what Terence Crawford has been paid and the structure of his contracts that is now public record. And why is it public record? It's public record because he sued Bob Arum, and in the lawsuit with Bob Arum for breach of contract, they laid out the details of the contract and how much money he was getting paid for guaranteed money for the fights that he's had. And the fight with Sean Porter was close to $6 million in guaranteed money for that fight. So, you know, that's pretty much what he was looking at is, you know, as far as guaranteed for fights that are not even as big as Errol Spence Jr. You also know that out there with Terence Crawford, with Errol Spence Jr., that at least as far as what the public record is, that the money that he's been offered for his guaranteed salaries has not been that high. It has been like 1.5 million guaranteed for the purse, and then after that he gets paid on the pay-per-view, he gets paid on the gate. So, you know, and I've done videos about this before, that, you know, Terence Crawford being in a structure where he's used to getting high guarantees, and Errol Spence Jr. where he's used to pretty much earning the money through the pay-per-views and through tickets sold in the venue, that could potentially be, you know, could potentially be a holdup for the fight. However, I'm optimistic that, you know, Terence Crawford is going to be reasonable and in the negotiations and take, you know, I'm sure they'll go back a little bit, you know, back and forth, because obviously, you know, whenever you get the first offer for a deal, you know, that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to accept it. You may counteroffer them, say, hey, okay, you know, I want this, I want that. And then, you know, they're going to either have yay or nay. There's nothing that I've heard about that I've heard out there, that where this is a case of, I'm going to offer this to you, take it or leave it. Infamous, examples of that are like when Eddie Hearn offered Deontay Wilder, $14.5 million, guarantee, flat fee, not just guaranteed, flat fee with no pay-per-view, no revenue, no money off of the attendance to the fight. Right. And, and it was a, take it my way or the highway type of situation. I don't know that this is that type of situation, a my way or the highway type of situation. Hopefully it's not. And, Terence Crawford will get something back, and, it will give something back. And then, they may go back and forth a little bit, but hopefully we get the fight done, man. If we get that fight done, dude, that is going to be absolutely incredible. Now, one of the things that were interesting, though, in the interview that took place with Errol Spence Jr. was funny, man, because Ellie Sathbag said, what do you have to say, to all of the people out there that say you weren't the same, you weren't the same anymore after that car accident. And Errol Spence Jr. pretty much said, yeah, man, they're right. I ain't the same. However, I'm still better than the rest of these dudes, so it ain't going to make too much of a difference, what the case is. I'm still better than the rest of these guys. And I think we saw that in the Yordenis Ugas fight, man, that the dude looked absolutely exceptional. I'm telling you, man, I certainly hope that this fight is getting made, because this is going to be the best welterweight fight, or one of the best fights that have been made this century. I think probably the best welterweight fight that has been made since the early 1980s. I think it was September 16th, 1982, if I get my year right, between Sugar Ray Leonard and Thomas Hitman Hearns, where you had two of the best fighters in the world in the welterweight class, which, by the way, is traditionally a powerhouse weight class. Where they've had, just it's a traditional weight class, and it's one where a lot of the most popular and best fights have happened. So it's just really, really good for the welterweight division, and also American boxing, man, because this is going to be two American fighters, and Black American fighters fighting one another to prove who's the best. And in this particular instance, whoever wins this fight is going to be the #1 pound for pound fighter in the world. I don't care if the people figure that it was, figure that it is Alexander Usyk, or some people may still be holding on Canelo Alvarez or whoever else they have. These guys right here, both of them being in the top 5 pound for pound of pretty much every sanction, every publication that has that's consistently doing them. Those guys fighting each other, man. That winner of that is going to be the dude. I'm amped up about it. Hopefully Terence Crawford don't fake out now. Don't fake out, bud, because it's in your court. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.